Hello, hello.
Hi, hi.
Welcome to episode 6 of Claiming Your Success Conversations with Caroline and Sabrina. And today we're taking questions from our audience. And we're just so grateful to everyone who listens to this podcast, who has left reviews for us, who has left comments on some of our episodes. And for those of you that submitted questions for us to answer live and in charge right here. We're just so thankful for this little community that we're building of people that are really wanting to grow beyond their current limits, right? And some of the questions that we have are like so good. I know I've got some good ones. I know Caroline had some good ones submitted. So we're just going to dive in. Caroline, do you want to start with like the first question that you want us to tackle? And you
Ye-
can keep it anonymous, or you can shout out the person that delivered it, whatever you want.
I'll keep it anonymous, right? Because this one, it was a someone came into my inbox, right, on the off the back of a podcast, and it was just I will keep it what I say anonymous. Because it's that as well. It's someone who I didn't even realize was a secret listener, secret follower,
Oh, we
So
love
it was
those.
right. And this question is for both of us. I love the questions when it's always to do with like social media and content and stuff like that.
Mm.
Especially because like even for both of us, we've grown along our journey. Especially if we was to go back through our social media and see where we started. When I look at when I started posting on social media, I was like a robot. I did this today. I did that today. What did you do today? I'm just like, what in the what? And do you know where I'm at the minute? Where there's like new eyes on my page. Do you know what? Everyone, please, whenever you look at me and Sabrina and our Instagram and say you're just started following us, please do not try to match everything we are doing because you're going to get confused and it's going to look like all over the place for you. Me and Sabrina know what we are doing. Like it may look like zigzag and all over the place, but we are following a map for ourselves. So the reason why I say that is because Sabrina, the question was, how are you able to show up across so many platforms?
Mm.
And it's like,
Mm.
if, yeah, you answer first. You answer first. Because you got,
Gosh.
what platforms do you show up on firstly?
So I show up on Instagram. That's my favorite.
Hmm.
YouTube is my like foundational. It's where I do a long form piece of content, and then everything else that I share that week comes from whatever that YouTube video is about. So I kind of,
Love it.
and that's a tip all by itself. Is like choose one platform that is
G.
like your foundational one, and then every like share almost like an anchor piece of content, and then everything else that you share that week, or however you choose to your rhythm is going to be, is basically pulled from that one piece of content. So you can take one piece of content and use it in multiple ways across multiple platforms. And I choose to do that with YouTube being my anchor content because, guys, I like to talk, in case you hadn't realized this. So I love creating long form pieces of coaching content specifically. And then everything that I share from there, whether it's Instagram reels, carousels, quotes, whatever, is pulled from that one singular piece of content. My email newsletter is pulled from the topic of that one piece of content. So I'm on YouTube, is like I said, my foundational, then Instagram, then Facebook and TikTok. And everything is kind of like spread. It's one singular piece of content or one subject matter that I then use multiple times across multiple platforms in multiple different ways, depending on the platform and what they like. So it's a case of working smarter, not harder. Like
Love it.
do the one thing that you really enjoy, and then find ways to use that multiple times.
Oh, I didn't realize that I love to talk on social media, right? And what I realized is I started off with Instagram. Well, Facebook was everyone had Facebook, right? No one I didn't utilize it as business. I still don't. I probably need to go back on there, but Instagram was my number one to begin with until I started talking. And
Mm,
then I actually now find I love TikTok more than Instagram. And
mm,
exactly what Sabrina said. If anything, because you can do a 10-minute video on TikTok, right? I will talk that whole 10 minutes. That's the video I will use, right, for TikTok. Then I will snip the best bits dash that on Instagram as a reel or put it as one of my Instagram stories, right? That's exactly what I do. So it literally is making that one piece of content and then using bits of it on other platforms.
Yeah.
Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah. Such a simple, like it's so simple. I think people overcomplicate showing up on social media
Yeah.
mainly because they were afraid of it, right? But so like we talked about this a couple of episodes ago about procrastination and overwhelm, right? We make an excuse because we don't want to do it. So we say, this is so overwhelming. I don't know how to show up. I don't know how to blah, 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 because we're afraid of it. But if you can make it so stupid simple for yourself, the excuses kind of fly out.
Literally. They do.
So good. I had a question about showing up on Instagram specifically or on social media. It was I have a hard time remembering to post content on my business IG. I work out consistently. She's a health coach, and now even have a client that I've started on a mental and physical journey and just always forget to post. What's the best way to go about marketing yourself and what I'm doing for me and my potential clients?
Sorry.
What's
It's because
what's
they
the best way to go about marketing myself and what I'm doing for me and my potential clients?
no, I more mean like, how can you forget to post if it is your business to post?
Oh, Caroline,
I was trying,
I
I
knew
was
it.
was trying not to laugh, and Sabrina, I was like, Caroline, don't laugh, right? But like, what do you mean? You're generating sales on social media, right? You got that client on social media, I'm assuming, right? So how are you forgetting to post? And then it's like you want to retain that client. That's like me saying, "Oh, I sold a pair of shops in, I sold a pair of shops. I sold a pair of shoes in my shop. Oh, I'm just going to shut the next day. I forgot to
Mm,
open." Oh, this is what
mm,
you want. That means again, I'm going to loop it back round to saying, do you believe in what you're doing? Because then, and that you can, or did you have you just got scared now because that you have a client and you're like, oh crap, I have someone now, what do I do? Because that can happen as well, you know. And it's like, well, for starters, that's what I'm gonna say. How have you forgotten? How can you forget that you're not posting? Because that needs to be on your mind. It needs to be a part of your routine, your daily morning routine. And then also, how do you market yourself? Just show up first. It just don't even think about anything because right now you need to think about that one person and you need to make sure you're showing up so that that one person shows up because they've put trust in you. So sorry, I've gone quite serious now because you've actually taken money from someone. So you actually need to make sure you do your business now because this is a business. You know, and if you want that person to buy into, to continue buying into you, you better start showing up because that person is only going to start using what? Word of mouth. You've told them you're going to do something for them. Now you've got to do it. So actually, right now, you need to make sure you're showing up. So you better write that somewhere for you to see first thing in the morning.
mm.
Sorry, that went a bit like
No, that's so good. So good,
because
Caroline. And Caroline, you have a way of saying things just very straightforward that I think makes people be like, oh, but not in a aggressive way, but just in a very like, oh, like let me get called out on how I'm
yeah,
approaching this. Because just what you said, like how can you forget to show up? If you're saying that you're calling something your business Instagram account, how can you not show up for your business? And I love the analogy that you gave of if I sold a pair of shoes in my store, so the next day I just forgot to open the store, like that would never happen. So then there's that element of, are you really taking it seriously? And
yeah,
taking your business seriously has to be the prerequisite, because then when you are taking it seriously, you're treating it as a business, then
yeah,
the question of struggling to show up no longer becomes a stumbling block. It's just now part of what you do. So maybe like a practical solution is to like have a routine built around what you need to do to show up and market yourself on your social media. So does that mean that you do something before you go to work in the morning? Does that mean on your lunch break, this is a specific time that you go and you create content or you show up on your social media? Is it a specific time at night that you do that? Like you have to build in a routine and become intentional about the marketing or the how you want to show up for you, what you're doing for you, what you're doing for your potential clients. To show that, you have to have an intentional system to do that. You can't rely on if I remember. That's
and
never going
then
to work.
right? And then just think it as, if you don't show up, you ain't gonna get paid. Simple as. Don't
Yeah.
show up, you ain't gonna get paid.
Yeah. And I think would you agree with this, Caroline, that it's almost like we talked about banning side hustle last time, but it's almost like these businesses that we're trying, quote unquote, to grow, they're an option. We see them as, we don't take them seriously because we've got a, most people, I know this person that asked this question has, we've got a 9 to 5 job. We've got a job that pays us and that has reliability and all of that. So what we're building on the side, it becomes an option. It becomes a, if I feel like it. Whereas if you're really wanting to impact people, and I know this individual does, that's where her heart is. She wants to
Yeah.
truly make a powerful impact in the lives of other people. Then that can't be an option. It can't be a, if I feel like it. You have to be connected to your mission and your purpose, because that's the only way that you're going to show up regardless of whether or not you feel like it, whether or not it's convenient, whether or not you feel as if you have anything to say. Some days on my social media, I'm like, I have zero things to say today. I'm not in a good mood. I feel as if nobody is listening to me anyway. So what's the point? And then I answer the question. I just asked, what's the point? I
Mm,
answer the question. The point is, Sabrina, there's somebody out there who needs to hear what you have to say. There's somebody
hmm.
out here that needs your story. There's somebody out there that if you don't show up today, they're not going to get a little nugget or a little
Yeah.
something or a little whatever that they need to make it through their day. So that's the point.
I bet you it all connects with something to do with engagement and likes and all that jazz. And even that, I had to start telling myself, just look for the one like, Caroline, because that's one. You only need to hurt one. Listen, we can only hurt one person at a time anyway. So why are we trying to rush and have 20s and 30s and 40s and stuff? Because it's the same thing with the views. Have you seen the thing? It's like a meme that's been going around, and it's like, be okay to have 100 views. Because think about, if you're giving a talk in front of 100 people, could you even do that? Be okay to have 500 views, but could you actually stand up and talk in front of 500 people?
Mm,
You know,
so
so
true.
that's, you know, so just think about the one person, you that when you do that one post, you're going to help that one person, and just look for that one like. That it starts making it so much easier. That's what I started doing, I think, a year and a half ago, just, it was like, Caroline, because I still get in my head and think, why am I doing it sometimes, especially when it's having a really bad day. And it's just like, oh, I could just leave all this and not do it, and I'll be a bit more stress free. But then it's like, really, would I be? you know just look for that one, just that one, and then you'll see it start to just get easier and easier. And it's just when you when you're starting off, it's that you got to build your foundation. You're going to
Mm,
be talking to yourself
mm.
for a little while.
And honestly, the way to think about that, this is how I thought about it, because I had that moment of, what's the point? Like, nobody's listening, whatever. And I just started to really look at it like, this is my practice stage, right?
Hmm.
Like right now, because I do have aspirations of speaking on big stages and doing all of that. Like that's my big goal, is to to speak on big stages and to have like be on a TED talk and things like that. Like I've got big aspirations for where I want my career to go. So now is my practice time. Now, when
Mm.
I'm building the foundation of all of this and I'm getting more skilled at speaking and all of that stuff, this is my practice time. So it doesn't matter if it's one person that sees something that I post or if it's 50 people, if it's 1,000 people, it doesn't matter. This is where I
Hmm.
get to practice so that I'm ready when I step onto that big stage.
Love that. Love that. So
So
good.
good. Like hack
Ugh.
yourself into thinking more empowered things,
Yeah.
right? That's what this comes down to. Instead of focusing on the I can't and I struggle and I have a hard time and all the negative ways of speaking to ourselves, think more empowered thoughts. How can I
Yeah.
lead with that?
Lead with that. Okay, question now. So this question irritated me. The way I clap back at the individual, and I'm going to actually say it to you how it was said, right? And then I want you just to think. So I'm going to pretend I'm the person. Oh my gosh, Caroline. Oh my gosh, Caroline. how do you do reels? How do you do all your videos on everything? I've just seen, what editing tool do you use? What app do you use? I was using CapCut. Now they're charging for CapCut. I'm not gonna pay for CapCut. So what do you use, Caroline? Oh, okay, have you got one that's free?
Why on earth are you not willing to invest in your business? You're setting up a, like, I don't mean to be harsh, but you're setting up a business where I'm assuming the goal is for people to give you money, right? That, like, that might not be the mission. I hope it's not the mission. The mission is greater, but the goal is that you earn an income from the business that you're building, correct? So why is it not okay that you spend money to do what you need to do to build that business that is going to pay you money? I never
That as well,
understand.
right?
I never understand this thing where people struggle with investing in themselves, because that's essentially what this is, right? If you're a personal brand, you're building a personal brand based business, or it's an investment in yourself. You have to be willing to do that. And hello, like, these
Or
apps, how much do these apps cost?
something stupid, probably like maybe 7 or maybe £10 a month or something. And then it just came into my head, how much are you paying for your Netflix?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. How much are you paying to get your nails done? How much are you paying for your coffee every morning? Like, it's so silly. And I understand the kind of the hesitation, because one, like, there's a couple of things here. One, you may not believe that this business is going to take you anywhere, so you don't want to waste
Yeah.
your money, right? I get that. And then two, there's that piece of well, I don't want to spend money because I'm not making any money. I get that. But, like, oh, Caroline.
So my answer's a bit different, right? Because my issue is they're not even showing up.
Mm,
My thing was, I clapped back and saying, I was like, I literally was like, I don't use an app. I don't use any app. I literally use what I have in my hands, which is Instagram. Oh, but how do you do your editing and stuff? I do it within the Instagram app. Oh, but how do you add all this? I do it in the app. I'm thinking, are you serious? They're complaining about what editing app to use when we actually have it already in Instagram and TikTok. Once you upload it on TikTok, you have the video there about the watermark, so you literally can just directly post it onto Instagram. Like, just show up first. Why are we thinking about all those things far along when it's like, just show up.
mm.
Just use what we have at the minute and then figure it out. Sorry, that's why it like, threw me off, because it's like,
That's a
I'm
great
not
point,
even seeing
though.
you to want to use the cat card. What do you mean? And it's
That's a
like, so you want to
great
use
point.
all the fancy stuff, and it's like, just do the basic first,
Mm,
then learn that and get
mm,
comfortable with that, and then you go to the fancy stuff.
mm,
Because otherwise, you're just going to look like everyone else using CapCut who don't actually know what they're doing and just want to do it to flip a couple of pictures and make it look like boom, tastic, and then try and get views for what? You don't even know how to use Instagram rules yourself, and then how are you going to teach someone when you bring them on?
mm, mm,
Reminded me.
mm. That's such a good point, because I think you're exactly right. Like, if you're not even doing the basics of showing up, then you don't need to worry about an editing app. You don't need to worry about a website. You don't need to worry about, any of those things that
No,
occupy your mind. You need to get into the habit of showing up consistently for the business that you're building, whatever that looks like for you. Like, showing up
yeah,
looks different for me than it does for Caroline, than it does for Homeboy Next Door, right? But you have to show up in what you have currently in order for it to make sense for you to need any of these other stuff. And then GTS, like, Google that shit. I like,
YouTube is so good.
do you know what I mean? And I think, and I'm not saying that to negate our positions as mentors. Like, we're here to help you kind of figure this stuff out. But when it comes, like, don't make that be the obstacle in your growth, when we literally have, like, all the information a human being could ever need to do anything in our hand at all times.
Literally. Oh, you said something, and I was going to spin off the back of that. It's gone. It's gone. No, it's gone.
All right, I got another
You're what?
question.
Hold on. What was I going to say?
Um,
Because I think it's coming on nearly. 25 minutes, 20, 28. I
20,
can't see the
20,
time on
20
it.
minutes. We're good. We're good.
Nice,
We
nice.
got time.
Oh, good, good, good.
We got time. Okay, so another question. I always find myself showing up for other people, whether it be in my personal life or my professional life, but I tend to not show up for my own self in ways that I show up for others. How do I go about balancing this out? Because we all know this can be very exhausting.
Okay, so someone who's business owner, right?
Hmm.
As well,
But
yeah.
personally, too, yeah.
So and so my like kind of had to. Well, you've recognised it already, so well done, right? You've recognised it. That's the start. And now start thinking the people that you are given so much time for, would they do the same for you? And have they been doing the same for you? Because I was actually in that position as well. And what I had to start, literally, I was talking about with Sabrina in our pre-chat. It should be called like our pre-warm-up, our pre-hustle,
We
huddle,
should
sorry.
film some of that and
I
have it
know,
be like our
right?
outtakes.
And I literally said to Sabrina, all I done was started matching energies. So look, identify how much, and also that I've even identify how much time you're spending with other people and start minimizing it. So start matching energy. See if the person is doing this, if they would even do the same for you for what you're doing for them, and you're going to match that. Then you will start to see. You probably start to see less of some people or start talking less to some of those people as well, actually. But you have to recognize when you're doing the most for people that don't deserve it, right? And sometimes that is family, sorry to say. Sometimes that is the closest people you thought were your friends. Probably more of the time it is family. But the main thing is you've identified it. Um, what do you think, Sabrina?
Yeah. No, I think you're right. The first of all, acknowledging the recognition of that, I think, is really important because you can't change what you don't see, right? But then, and I think this is so hard because it is exhausting. It's something that saps your energy and like
Yeah.
steals your joy because you feel as if like you start to feel resentful because yes, it's
Yeah.
you that's
Yeah.
doing it, but when you're constantly doing that for others to the point where you don't have the energy for yourself, you're not showing up for yourself, you start to resent those people and those relationships.
But one thing as well, right? Are they aware? Have you even told them? Because
Mm,
sometimes they need to be told as well. And as something I learned a few years ago, it's like unwritten rules. Are they aware of what frustrates you and how much of their time you actually can allocate to them? Because sometimes it's just the fact that you need to let them know.
yeah, having those boundary kind of conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah, so crucial. So I think like my answer to this would be two things. From a professional standpoint, if we're talking professionally not showing up, then you need to like your willingness to show up for other people, you need to attach showing up in your business as that, right? Because showing up in your business is not about you, it's about the person that you're here to serve.
Yeah.
So if you're not showing up professionally, are you truly on a mission to serve people? And that's a gut check kind of
What?
gut check
Yes.
question to ask yourself. But if you're unwilling to do what is going to be necessary when it's inconvenient, you don't have the time, you don't have the energy, you don't really feel like it. If you're unwilling to show up, even in those cases, then are you really on a mission to serve people? So
Yeah.
ask yourself that question. And then personally, I think it's a deeper question about your worth, your self-worth, your self-respect, all of those things. It's a much deeper conversation around that because so much of us showing up for other people to the point where it depletes us is about, trying to prove our value or trying to make
Mm,
sure that the people around us aren't upset with us. We want to make sure that they get taken care of because we don't want them to be upset with us. And I had a coaching conversation with one of my clients recently, and she was talking about exactly this. She was like, I give so much of myself to the people around me to make their lives better that I'm just so depleted at the end of the day that I don't show up for myself at all. And I asked her the question, I said, are you there making people's lives better or are you making people's lives easier? Because there's a
ah,
difference.
there's a difference.
There's a difference.
Yeah, I noticed I've been doing that with an individual. I won't highlight it too much. But yeah, literally. And I realized that I was actually at fault there because I wasn't
Mm,
making their life better. I was actually making it easier. And in return, that's not going to help them further develop
No,
them in their career, you
exactly
know?
that. Exactly that.
So,
When we're making someone's life better, we can argue for that, right? But when
yeah.
we're out here making someone's life easier, often we're not making their life better at all.
No, we're
Because
not.
we're not showing that we believe that they have the capability to figure shit out by themselves.
Yeah.
But then two, we're stealing their learning from them.
Yep. And with me as well, I thought I was doing the right thing by protecting their feelings. And actually, they kind of need to know, because then that's where they're going to realize that they have to actually improve on themselves. So yeah, hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
these are tough questions. I think we have to cap that on three questions that we got through. But don't worry,
What
we're
is
gonna do
what?
like this happened to us last season too when we did Q&A, because you guys asked us such great questions that
We
are
got
so
we got one more
meaty.
in, right?
They're so meaty that we have to dedicate more than one episode to answering your questions. So we are going to come back and answer more questions in our next episode. But it's so it's so important that, and I think we need to like wrap this up into something to empower you to move forward.
Yeah.
You guys that asked the question, and maybe the response that you heard from us wasn't what you were expecting, or maybe the response that you heard from us hurt a little bit, it got into your feelings a little bit. I want you to really take whatever emotion that answer like brought up in you, use that as fuel to go and do something different, because
Yes.
it would, whatever we said always comes from a place of love. It always comes from a place of, these are the exact same mistakes and things that we did, so we can
Hmm.
say it to you that straightforward, because these are exact things that we walked through too. But if you felt a certain way from our response, and this goes to any of the questions that we ask you guys, or if we're in conversation in our DMs with you and we say something and it makes you feel a certain way, it will only cut if the blood was necessary. Do you know what I mean? Like, it will only hurt you if it was what you needed to hear to realize
Yeah.
that, yes, I'm playing small. Yes, I'm holding on to excuses. Yes, I am. I know what to do. I'm just unwilling to do it. And now, with that knowledge, you can go out and make a different choice.
Yep. Right.
All right.
See
Episode
you on the next one.
6 done. See you on the next one, guys.
Bye bye.